Well, let's go. Let's start with the expose on Jalen Hurts that he's the worst quarterback in the world.
It said that?
Yeah, that's what it was, right?
I ain't read all that.
I mean, it was something like that. You might as well have said that. Yes, long-form piece in ESPN today by friend of the show, Jeremy Fowler, discussing, what's gone wrong with the Eagles offense. It was a big talking point all last season. And basically, a lot of the blame they're pointing to is Jalen Hurts, that he's too rigid in what he likes to do. And that's what led to the, quote, disaster that was the Eagles' passing offense. Specifically, they mentioned he doesn't like to let it rip over the middle. He doesn't like to play under center. He doesn't like to turn his back to the defense. He wants it done a certain way. He wants to play to his strengths. The problem is one of his strengths is running the football. He doesn't want to do that either because it might hurt him and it might jeopardize his long-term future. Long story short, everybody in Philadelphia is upset with the quarterback and that he's the reason why their offense has looked inconsistent over the last couple seasons.
And I'm here to push back and say, how does winning supposed to look? I've said it a million times. Sports has a short menu, wins and losses. Go ahead. And you want to put on your party dress and you want it to be the way you want it to be. No, that's not how it goes. Freaking Brett Favre won 3 MFing MVPs. 3.
Mm-hmm.
And all he did was throw interceptions and all that other stuff. I know he won and was a gunslinger, and everybody loved him because he was a gunslinger. How many playoff games did they end where Brett Favre threw an interception across the
Quite
field? Right? His last one in Minnesota, that's how they lost the game. Because that's what he does. And no one's saying that Jalen Hurts is the perfect quarterback, but the complaining about the winning that they've done is mind-boggling. Can I give you his 2 Super Bowls? I'm not even going to get into the regular season. Can I give you the 2 Super Bowls?
I know for sure those numbers.
2 Super Bowl games. 333 yards, total yards, right? Average. 74% complete. You hear me? 74.
Mm-hmm.
12 yards a play. 7 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, a 109 quarterback rating. And he's outshined Mahomes in the head-to-head in those 2 Super Bowls. Not even, okay, like playoff record. 6-3, 20 touchdowns, total touchdowns, 20. How many interceptions?
Super Bowl or playoffs?
This is a playoff run. 20 touchdowns, total 3.
Yeah.
20, that's pretty good ratio, right?
Oh, that's great.
2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl championship, 1 Super Bowl MVP, and that was the year that everybody and their uncle who we had on the show for the Super Bowl, what did they say the strategy was for the Chiefs? Stop Saquon Barkley and you'll win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Was that not what they said? And that year, they did stop Saquon, and the Eagles still won because Jalen Hurts made every throw, every play that they needed him to make.
We ain't seen Saquon since.
Exactly. We haven't. Last year, we didn't see him.
I don't know where Saquon
Nobody
Barkley
talked
is.
about that.
Saquon, I talked about it. Oh, you know, I kept bringing that up.
He couldn't break through right last year. But my point is, you can do all this, the window dressing. That's why everybody loves Justin Herbert, but he can't win a playoff game. But they love him and his arm and the way, all this other stuff, the external stuff. Man, can you stop with the Jalen Hurts? I guess you're bored. I guess you got to figure it out. And you know what this sounds like? And I know Jeremy Fowler and his work, and I'm not knocking him because someone was willing to put this dish this stuff out there. Sounds like an excuse, like somebody back in the home office who wants to say, well, the offense is struggling. Don't blame me. It's the quarterback. It's Jalen Hurts. I just can't believe they win like 12 or 13 games. So tell me, if Jalen Hurts is Superman or whatever, I guess they go undefeated, or instead of winning 13 games, they win 14 or 15. Is that what we're talking about? I understand. It wasn't perfect. There were plenty of issues. When they threw the ball to A.J. Brown, they lost. When he was begging for the ball. When Jalen Hurts.
Touchdowns and 100-yard games, they lose.
They lose. And then the other games, he doesn't get any balls or 2 or 3 balls and very few yards, and they win, and it's a problem. I just don't. I don't get it. And count me out on the Jalen Hurts bashing. I'll gladly take a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a Super Bowl MVP from this guy who's a bad quarterback.
I think the issue, Rob, is when you look at the team, and if I told you on paper what they have, I think that's where the issue comes from, the expectancy of more. If I told you have a quarterback, to your point, who wins a clip of 65% of his games, he's been a Super Bowl MVP, and then I told you may one or two best receiving tandems on the outside on paper, just as far as ability, and then you have arguably the best running back coming into last season, right there, 1, 2, or 3, depending on where you want to put Henry and McCaffrey. I think that's where the teams are having issue. They're saying, man, but we got this Ferrari. Why are we moving like we're a Camry? We got this fat. We should be going so much more. We should be doing so much more. We've got Hurts. We've got Devontae Smith. We got A.J. Brown. We've got tight ends. We got Barkley. We got one of the best offensive lines. We got great defensive players. And I think that's the issue is they're wanting more. And I think you're saying, well, you're winning. The last 5-6 years you've been winning, and they're saying, but we're winning at a clip that doesn't make sense for what we have. And I don't
more than 13 wins.
Yeah, I'm going. So last season they struggled. So many of their wins they barely won, and then they lost a bunch of bad games as well.
Barely won, or did they win? Because you know what? The Lions blew everybody out, and they had all the weapons. Mm-hmm. What has that gotten them? Did they win the Super Bowl? No.
I'm answering your question.
And that's what you like to talk about. No, I just want to get your feel for this. So that's what you want. You want the Lions. No, the Lions had this unbelievable offense, right? Scored all of Ben Johnson. Oh, they got all the weapons. Oh, they got the quarterback who came from L.A. and they didn't want him there. And my God, look at Jared Goff. Look at the numbers they put up. The Lions blew everybody out. That's good, but they didn't win because when the game mattered, Jared Goff had 4 turnovers and 3 interceptions in the game that mattered. I'd rather have my quarterback play and that at this level when it matters most, and that's what I've seen. It ain't like he can't do it. It'd be different if you say
but that's the point, Rob. No. That's exactly the point.
No, the point is that you can't do it.
Listen, the point is I say this all the time. One of the things in life, and it goes for anybody, I don't care if it's an entrepreneur, I don't care if you're a world-renowned doctor, dentist, or surgeon, or if you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now comes expectations. Now people expect things from you. Now people expect you to go into your lab in the offseason and come back with this bag of new tricks. And that's what I think people are having their team, some of them having issues within that team, because I've mentioned it. I expected him to run the ball more. Use your gifts. That's what makes you guys scary. When you run the ball, you're running the ball with Barkley. Now you got the RPO option. I don't know what you're going to do. The play action creates it, and that's what makes him scary. So I don't know why. If it's a personal choice, an offensive coordinating choice, there's no reason he shouldn't be running. And towards the end of the season,
how many offensive coordinators have they had the last 3 years?
He's had 6 play callers.
Okay.
And so that also leads the question.
Okay. But it's a quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm about to get to. What is up with these coordinators? Is it they're getting jobs, which I believe is some. When you have success, people pluck from you. We know that. We just saw that with the Lions a couple of seasons back now. Is there some disconnect here? We know you're reading this expose. You got Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts getting into it. He said, I'm trying to implement this. He doesn't want it. They said that he'll start it, and if it didn't work immediately, he backs out of it. So I just want Jalen Hurts, to me, to go back to what works for him. Number one, running the ball, not saying a bunch, not 15 more times a game, but just a handful more to make yourself a threat, which ultimately makes the team a threat. And then also to go home in the lab this offseason, come back with a bag of tricks. When you look at his numbers, he only passed on the outside. So let's say the clip is at I'm making this up, at 25% passes in the middle of the field. If you go to 35%, meaning I just want to see him uptick and get a little bit better in some of those areas where they're deficient, and I think that'll bode well for him. But I think that's the issue is when you look on paper with the team and the weapons they have and the offense they have and the offensive line, you get left wanting so much more, left with so much
more
desire.
Than 2 Super Bowls in 3 years?
Yeah, because what do I talk about all the time? And it's just facts of life in sports. It's what do you do? What have you done for me lately?
I think it's
because you'll say the same thing about Patrick Mahomes, and he's got more Super Bowls.
But I think
he's got 1 compared to what, 3?
No.
But I'm saying because he hasn't been himself, he hasn't won at the clip he normally does.
No, but there people still will say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and they're still living off of the past, not off of what he's doing now.
But
my point is, in big games, Jalen Hurts has played well, and I'm just saying, there's also a lot of different offensive coordinators. Saquon was this first year, had a great record-setting year. Last year, he couldn't get through the line of scrimmage. They didn't have the same offensive line. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it just to look at a quarterback and say it's all his fault or he doesn't want to do that. There are other variables that people aren't being honest about. You think the offensive line is the same? That offensive line that destroyed the Chiefs, that wasn't the same offensive line.
That defensive line too. My gosh, they manhandled the Chiefs for sure.
Both of them.
No, both of the lines. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Rob. He has been perfectly fine as far as winning. Yeah, I think he wins at a clip of 65%. He's been in the postseason pretty much, I think, every year, right? So I'm not even questioning it. I just think they're saying this isn't making sense with all that we have, and that's what I would want to see this offseason, if he can take that next step forward. I just think people
get to the point where it's a lot of nitpicking. You know,
but that's what happens with success, though, right? Even a musician drop an album, they're like, it wasn't good as this album.
I just gave you the Brett Favre thing. I just don't remember anybody, like seriously, coming down on him because he was just he's too careless with the ball. So if he were to open it up and start throwing the ball down the field and start throwing interceptions, then it would be he can't read defenses, he's sloppy with the football. Do you know what I mean? Like you can pick whichever one you want. But that's what you would be hearing if he were to start to just air it out. Oh, wait a minute. Why are you throwing downfield? You got an open man right there. All you do is just dump it off.
Can I give you one example?
Tom Brady's the same exact way.
I hear what you're saying. I'm going to give you real quick, Rob G. 20 seconds.
Tom Brady dumping the ball off.
Here, real quick, 20 seconds.
Check down Charles.
Lamar Jackson is an example of, we were like, we saw the kind of the limitations, and then he just kept getting better. Oh, well, he's really not a good passer. And then, he's not passing at the clip of these other passers. And he has. And you and I talk about it every daggone week, it seems. His QBR, his passer rating, some of the all-time great seasons as passers came from Lamar Jackson. And my point is, that's what I think, when you get that up to the winning clip of Jalen Hurts, you want to see those progressions. And I think that's where some of this backlash is coming from.
I just think it's ridiculous.